Hello? I'm having like hot and cold flashes. Like right now, I'm sweating, and then in 2 minutes from now, I'm gonna be freezing. You gonna pick me up at 5:30? The classic laying down on your back, feet up, laying position is one of the worst birthing positions that you can do. Can you pick me up earlier so we can get something to eat? You are less likely to tear by so much when you have a water birth. What's up guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you didn't already know, my name's Dina. I film lifestyle videos here on YouTube that include me and my fiance Curtis, our 2 dogs, our 2 cats, this lovely home that we bought as a foreclosure home and fixed it up. I don't know if you can see it, but baby on the way. Currently 33 weeks. If that interests you, hit that subscribe button and the post notification button so you get notified every time I post a new video. Let's get on into the video. As you saw by the title of this video, I'm planning on doing an all-natural water birth. There are a bunch of different things that can go wrong to where you have to have a hospital birth. We're not talking about all those reasons in this video. We're just talking about why I personally want an all-natural water birth opposed to a hospital birth. So I wrote down a whole list just to stay on topic of things and to make sure I get my point across and I'm not just rambling this whole video. My 3 main goals for this video is to 1, educate everybody on water birth, on the pros and cons and everything in between of a water birth and a hospital birth. My next goal is to not get annoyed. I'm very for water births and all natural births. So I tend to get a little, maybe annoyed isn't the right word, but I tend to get very into what I'm talking about. So I'm gonna try to stay mellowed out and not so, what's the word? I can't think of the word. And then my 3rd goal is to get this video done and over with, quick, easy, simple, so I'm not sitting here talking to you guys for an hour. So let's start with some signs that I saw when I first got pregnant and basically led me to now know that hospital births are not for me. Like, I'm not okay with them. If I can help it, I never want one. Yeah, so let's talk about some signs, and if you guys have some of these signs or you agree with me on some of these points or topics, then yeah, maybe water birth is for you too. Disclaimer really quickly, we are gonna get into some TMI things. If you don't wanna talk about vaginas and midwives and what doctors do and all that fun stuff during pregnancy and birthing, then click off this video. This is not the video for you. Stop watching it. I warned you. To put it plain and simple, I am modest. I don't want anybody seeing that area no matter what. Like, if it was life or death, okay. There are so many reasons that doctors and midwives are gonna tell you they need to see your vagina. There's vaginal sweeps at the end of your pregnancy. There are pelvic exams at the beginning of your pregnancy, invasive ultrasounds. Google it real quick and come back to the video. But yeah, there are so many reasons that doctors are gonna say that they need to see your vagina, and I disagree with that. If it's not life or death, then you do not need to see my vagina. That's just how I feel. Like I said, if it's life or death, there are some reasons that I feel like doctors need to see your vagina. Like, for instance, the Group B strep. So, okay, if you don't know what a Group B strep is, it's a swab of the vagina to make sure you don't have a certain bacteria that can be deadly to the baby. Luckily, my midwife center lets you swab that yourself, so I don't have to worry about anybody seeing my vagina. Next point, I've honestly never been comfortable in a doctor's office or a hospital. I've never been comfortable there. I've never wanted to go. Growing up, whenever my mom told me you have a doctor's appointment, like, I would get super nervous and I'd stress about it all week, and it was just the worst thing ever. Not for any particular reason either. I don't like doctor's offices. My next point, I do not agree with hospital birthing techniques, and I never have. There's a number of them that I don't agree with. I bet you guys didn't know, but the classic laying down on your back, feet up, laying position is one of the worst birthing positions that you can do. Yes, there are birthing positions. There's all kinds of different squatting positions you can do. Look it up. Just go Google it so you know what I'm talking about. The fact that they don't let you eat or drink. Most hospitals, definitely not all, but a lot of hospitals nowadays, they want the birth done as quickly as possible, and I honestly feel like they're willing to do anything to make that happen. Now again, that's not all hospitals, that's not all doctors, but in some cases, it is. Like, I've heard, for instance, there's this YouTube video out there of this mom, and she's telling her birth story, and basically her doctor was really pressuring her to get a C-section done, and she was really against it, but he just kept telling her, like, the baby's too big, your vagina's too small, it isn't gonna happen, you're wasting all of our time, you're gonna end up having a C-section anyway, blah blah blah. In her birth story, she said not even 10 minutes later, she gave birth to her baby boy. And I felt for this mother because I found that really annoying. Like, okay, to a doctor, I understand, like, you have a million patients a day, like, you want to get this done over with so you could go to someone else. Like, I get that, but at the same time, that's really messed up. That's all I'm gonna say about that. Next topic. I've always been an all-natural person. Ever since I can remember, if I've gotten a headache or like a stomach ache or a cramp or something, I was never one to take Tylenol or Advil. Like, my mom would always say, hey, I have Tylenol, I have Advil, do you want some? And I'd be like, no, like, I've just never been okay with taking stuff like that, medications like that. I'm not gonna go into the whole topic of my body's a temple, but that's how I saw it. I don't want to take these pills. I'm fine with dealing with the pain. It's just that the pain sucks. So just from knowing that aspect about myself, I'm not gonna want an epidural. And I know there's at least 20 people out there saying, you don't know how bad the pain's gonna be. You're gonna want every pain relief they have, blah, 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 blah. I know myself, I know my body, and I would never say that in a million years. Not that there's anything wrong with taking painkillers or, you know, getting an epidural during labor at all. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Just for me, it's not for me. Next subject. I have seen so many hospital horror stories. It's not funny. If you do plan on having a hospital birth, I do recommend watching a few, not a lot, like, don't scare yourself. Don't psych yourself out, but watch a few hospital horror stories just so you can get a gist on what to say no to. I don't like the idea of walking into somewhere and someone else totally being in charge about everything, and that's what happens when you walk into a hospital. Like, the doctor's in charge, they know what's best. They know what's best, like, they're gonna... I don't like that aspect. I recommend that you just educate yourself on everything that could go wrong, just so if it does, you know which option is better for you. Because there might be two options to something, and your doctor just may not tell you about it because he wants to get the quicker thing done. But like I said, that's not all doctors, that's not all hospitals. Those are the main reasons that I decided to not do a hospital birth, and I started researching other options. One thing I came across was a home birth, and I didn't like that idea. First of all, there's a bunch of horror stories about that, babies dying and mothers bleeding out. I kept researching and I came across water birth. So I did a bunch of research on my own about water births, and what I found was really amazing. It was everything that I wanted and nothing that I didn't want. So I found a place near me that does water births, and that is a midwife center. And I called them, asked them a billion questions, signed up for I think it was 4 or 5 birth classes. They just like educate you on literally everything from the birth itself to like the history of their water birth center, and they just educate you on water births in general. It was everything I wanted and nothing that I didn't, and I was so excited to do that. So now I'm going to get into the pros of having a water birth and the cons of having a water birth. So some pros, and my air turns on right now. Some pros: water birth actually cuts the pain of contractions. Well, it can cut the pain of contractions up to 50%. It just sounds relaxing. Like, you can put up some little candles, have the warm water running, and you can just let yourself go. It just sounds amazing rather than laying in a bed with your legs up and random strangers walking in and out seeing your vagina. Like, anyway, if you do have a water birth, they let you eat and drink whenever you want. A lot of hospitals, once you go into labor, there's no eating and drinking. You can have ice chips, maybe popsicles, but that's it. And then in the morning after you give birth, you can have hospital food. No thank you. So my birthing center actually lets you eat and drink and move around. If you want to give birth in the tub, that's fine. If you want to give birth standing up, you can do that. They cater to you. It's not like the nurse is telling you, you need to lay down now, you need to put your legs up, and you need to get ready to push. I don't like that. I do not like that about hospitals. The next pro of water birthing is that there are no distractions. You don't have a door open leading to a hallway in a hospital where people walk past. Back and forth. You don't have 15 nurses coming in and out to do this and that. You don't have machines beeping everywhere. It's just you in the water with a midwife and a nurse. And if you choose to have other people in the room, that's it. I'm gonna have Curtis in the room with me. Another thing, in hospitals, they have this really weird like thing that goes around your belly to monitor you. I don't wanna be hooked up to anything when I'm giving birth. Like, I'm gonna be in pain. The last thing I'm gonna want is all these cords attached to me. Next pro is that the midwives are there for you. They are there for you. So if you tell them the last thing you want is a C-section, they will do everything in their power to make sure that doesn't happen. Another pro, one of my favorites, actually. I don't know the exact statistic, but you are less likely to tear by so much when you have a water birth. Next pro is you go home a lot sooner. So at my specific birth center, they send you home 4 to 8 hours after you've given birth, as long as everything looks okay. It's not like a hospital birth where you stay 24 hours, sometimes 48 hours. The last pro, the aftercare. As soon as baby's born, they put baby right onto your chest. They don't touch baby, they don't wipe any of the stuff off, which I really like. I really don't like how hospitals put the baby on you and then like they're checking its heart rate and they're wiping things off and they're cleaning the baby, or sometimes in some cases they don't even put the baby on your chest. They take the baby and they just wash it up and they put a diaper on it and all that stuff. I don't like that aspect. Like, as soon as I give birth, I want to hold my baby. Like, I want to know what all this pain was for. I want to, like, that's my baby. I want to give it its first bath. Like, I know a lot of women are like, I'm too tired, just go bathe it. I feel you, okay? Like, I understand where you're coming from, but that's just not me. Not to mention how important golden hour is after you've given birth. Baby and mom need to be, should be left alone for an hour, baby on the chest. So some cons of birth center, there really aren't that many. One, I've heard other people complain about, it doesn't really bother me though. You give birth into tap water. If your birth center doesn't have like a water filter hooked up to their tubs or even in their wash system at all, you give birth in tap water. That bothers some people, but like I said, it doesn't bother me. It'd be the same thing as bathing your baby at home. Another con is that if something does go wrong, you're going to have to be shipped to the hospital in an ambulance. I don't know if a lot of you know this, but ambulances are freaking expensive. That kind of sucks, and especially like if you're in the middle of labor. I've heard contractions in vehicles suck. I think I've covered everything. Some random bits that I forgot to include in this, but I'm just not remembering. So when you are in labor, if you are comfortable and relaxed, that actually triggers a hormone called oxytocin. It's what makes your labor progress. So if you are calm and relaxed and happy and like not stressed out, then a whole bunch of oxytocin will release and your labor will go faster. If you're stressed out or worried or even scared about something, then that stops the oxytocin and your labor and your contractions will not only hurt more, it'll make your dilation slower and it will make your labor just take longer. And I feel like if I was to give birth in a hospital, that's exactly what would happen, because I would have random nurses coming in and out of the room and I'd be like, who are you? Who are you? Like, why? Get what? It just wouldn't be for me. So yeah, I think that pretty much sums up today's video on why I'm doing a all-natural water birth. Well, like I said, I plan on doing an all-natural water birth. There are a million things that could happen to where I end up having a hospital birth, but for now, the plan is water birth. If you are planning on doing a hospital birth, I do not want to scare anybody. If you plan on doing a hospital birth and that is what you're comfortable with, then you do you. The most important thing is that you are comfortable, so you get those oxytocins going, so you get that labor done quick, okay? So that was pretty much it for this week's video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. I'll see you guys next week. Bye, guys. You guys, look how big baby is this week. Oh my goodness, her's getting big.